consciousness, the matchless gift. And we're on chapter 6, which is transcending designations and problems. Transcending designations and problems. Transcending designations and problems. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paskatya Desatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Transcending designations and problems. Krishna consciousness is easily achieved by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, but only some are fortunate enough to have the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and his disciplic succession. According to Bhagavad Gita, Manusyanam sahasre su kaschit jatati siddhaye jatatam api siddhanam kaschit mam veti tattvataha. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Krishna says this in the 7th chapter, 3rd verse. 7th chapter, 3rd verse. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. God realization is not possible for animals or for persons who are almost animals, or for animals in the shape of human beings. Contemporary civilization is by and large an assembly of animals because, as stated before, it operates on the basis of the animal propensities. The birds and beasts arise early in the morning and busy themselves trying to find food and sex and trying to defend themselves. At night they look for shelter, and in the morning they fly to a tree to find nuts and fruits. Similarly, in New York City, great hordes of people travel from one island to another by ferry boat or wait for subways in order to go to the office for the purpose of finding food. How is this an advancement over animal life? Although the ferry and subway are always crowded and many people have to travel 40 or 50 miles for bread, the birds are free to fly from one tree to another. Real civilization is not concerned simply with man's animal needs, but with enabling man to understand his relationship with God, the Supreme Father. One may learn about his relationship with God by any process, through Christianity, through the Vedic literature, or through the Quran. But in any case, it must be learned. The purpose of this Krishna consciousness movement is not to make Christians into Hindus or Hindus into Christians, but to inform everyone that the duty of a human being is to understand his relationship with God. One must learn this, otherwise he or she is simply wasting their time by engaging in animalistic propensities. What are those animalistic propensities? Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. We must all try to love Krishna or God. If one has a process, he should practice it, or if he can come and learn this process. One should not begrudge the selection of one process over another. Vishad api amritam grayam amedyad api kanchanam nichad api uttamam vidyam stri ratnam duskulad api. Niti Darpana 116. Chanakya Pandit says that one must catch what is right from any source. If there is a glass of poison with some nectar in it, he says, One should take out the nectar and leave the poison. In the same way, if one finds gold in a filthy place, he should take it. Similarly, although according to the Vedic system of education, one must be given instruction by intellectual persons like brahmanas, if someone lower on the social scale has learned the truth, one should accept him as a teacher and learn from him. One should not think that just because one is lowly born, he should not be accepted as a teacher. Similarly, if one is serious about understanding God, he should not think, I am a Christian, I am a Hindu, or I am a Muslim. If one is serious about understanding love of God, he should consider which process is practical. One should not think, why should I follow Hindu or Vedic scriptures? The purpose of following the Vedic scriptures is to develop love of God. When students come to America for a higher education, they do not consider the fact that the teachers may be American, German, or of other nationalities. If one wants a higher education, okay, let's keep quiet, please. If one wants a higher education, he simply comes and takes it. Similarly, if there is an effective process for understanding and approaching God, like this Krishna consciousness process, one should take it. Not all, but those who are intelligent and fortunate take to this process of devotional service, kevalaya bhaktya, and their only desire is to serve Krishna. From early morning to late at night, the devotees are engaged in Krishna's service. This is called kevalaya, pure. For them, there is no other business. This process is recommended for all, and it is the perfection of all religious processes. Savai pumsa paro dharmo yato bhaktira hoksaje. Srimad Bhagavatam 126. In Sanskrit, there are two words, para and apara, which describe the superior, transcendental, and the inferior, material approaches to religion. In the execution of material dharma, or religion performed for material gain, people generally go to a church or a temple and pray, God give us our daily bread. Actually, this need not be asked for bread is already provided for everyone. Even the birds and beasts get their bread without having to go to church to ask God for it. Similarly, our bread is also provided, whether we go to church or not. That is not a problem, for no one is dying in the streets of starvation, nor do we find a bird, beast, or even an ant dying of starvation. Food is there, and one need not bother about it. If the brain should be taxed, it should be taxed for Krishna or God. This is the proper utilization of time. There is no scarcity of bread in the kingdom of God. Tasyaiva hetu prayate te kovido nalabhyate yad brahmatam uparyada. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.18. Srimad Bhagavatam says that one should try to attain that which cannot be attained by traveling all over the universe. What is that? Kevalaya bhaktya, pure devotion. By God's arrangement, there is sufficient food, land, and prospects for food on this planet. But we have arranged things in such a way that in one part of the world people are suffering, and in another part they are throwing grains in the ocean. The Vedas say, Eko bahunam yo vidadati kamam. The Supreme Person is supplying food to many living entities. The difficulty in this material world is that we take more than we need, and thus create our own problems. Problems are created by men, led by the so-called politicians. According to nature's way or God's way, everything is complete. According to Sri Upanishad, Om Purnam Ada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Mudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vasishyate. In each Upanishad invocation, the personality of Godhead is perfect and complete. And because of this, all emanations from Him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself. Because He is the complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from Him, He remains the complete balance. Sri Upanishad invocation. God is complete. His creation is complete, and His arrangements are complete, but we are creating disturbances. Real education is that which makes people Krishna conscious so that they will properly utilize the resources of the earth and stop creating disturbances. It is not possible to solve problems by passing resolutions in the United Nations. One must know the actual method of solving problems. So here's very precious information Srila Prabhupada is giving. And we have to understand what he's saying. What he's saying is that there is para dharma and apara dharma. Para dharma means superior dharma, and apara dharma means inferior dharma. So what is the difference between superior dharma? Dharma means what is our duty to God. Just like a mother has a duty to her child, to protect the child. Is it not? Does the mother not have that duty? We have some mothers here. Is that you're a mother? You're a mother. What's your duty for your child? Huh? Yeah, and that includes protecting her. So, what is our duty in life? What is everyone's duty? Man, woman, child, everyone. It's to serve God with pure love and devotion. That is our real duty. So that's paradharma. Now, what is aparadharma? Paradharma means superior dharma. Aparadharma, inferior dharma. People in the material dharma or religion, they go to the church or the synagogue or the temple or the mosque for material gain. This is inferior dharma. They're going to the church. They're going to the mosque. They're going to God, but they're going for material gain, not for developing pure love of God. So, and they go for material gain. People generally go to the church or the temple and they pray, God, give us our daily bread. So we see, the Christians say the Lord's Prayer, give us our daily bread, right? And lead us not into temptation. And the Muslims, when they pray, they do their namaz. At one point, they put their hands out like this. They're praying to God, please give us your, and then they say their desires, right? So, we should not ask anything from Krishna except please protect us so we can always engage in your service. That's the only thing. We should, if we're going to ask for something, we should ask for service. Not bread. So here Prabhupada says, actually, God give us our daily bread. Actually, this need not be asked for bread is already provided for everyone. Krishna has already set aside for everyone their daily needs. Just like we go out on Sankirtan every Saturday and we distribute cookies and burritos and books. So every week we always keep one burrito for the homeless people that are, every week they're begging at the entrance of the I-5 at 45th Street or 50th Street. The 50th Street entrance to I-5 going south, there's an encampment of homeless people, and they take turns one at a time. They're begging. And every week we come by, we know they're going to be there. We always keep one burrito. We open the window and say Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna. And then he repeats it, then we give him the burrito and a card. And say, always chant Hare Krishna. So, that man is being provided. Right? And he's homeless. He doesn't work. He doesn't have any money. But he's getting his food and his wine or whatever it is that he wants somehow or other every day. So Krishna is providing for everyone. But the one thing that we should ask for is Kevalaya Bhakti, pure devotion. That should be our only business in life. Kevalaya Bhakti. That should be our only desire, to serve Krishna purely with devotion and love. So, our bread is also provided whether we go to the church or not. That's not a problem. Even if you don't go to the church, still people are eating every day, right? Because Krishna promised that he will provide it. The only reason some people go starving is because the politicians create disturbances. They have this thing called nationalism. So they make differentiation between this group of people and that group of people, and it creates enmity, and then there's eventually war. And there's a famous German writer, Bertolt Brecht, and he wrote a very famous play in German called Mother. I think what was the name of that? Mother something. And in that play, there's a famous line that someone says, whenever there's a war, only the politicians win or lose the war. The people all lose on both sides. The politicians may win or lose a war, but the people themselves, on both sides, they lose. See, and this is a true statement. It's called Mother Courage. That's the name of the play in English, and written by Bertolt Brecht. And Mother Courage says, whenever there's a war, the politicians may win or lose, but we, the people, doesn't matter what side you're on both sides, we lose. Right? So that's the point, that the politicians create these disturbances because of their own egotistic goals, and the people suffer. And the best example is Napoleon. He jacked up the German people like anything. And in the end, they were totally defeated. It was humiliation completely, and they suffered terribly. And somehow or other, they have bounced back, but they've never recovered from it. Psychologically, they're still suffering the pains of the defeat. They got defeated twice, but the first time, World War I, was very humiliating for them. But World War II was much worse. It decimated their country. Right. Okay, so we should try to attain that thing in this life which cannot be attained by traveling all over the universe. What is that? Kevalaya Bhakti, or Bhaktya, pure devotion. You can get pure devotion right here. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to go to India. You don't have to go China. You don't have to go Europe. You can get it right here, right? What will you get if you travel around? Well, you might get bhakti if you travel around, but you can get it right here. Bhakti is already in your heart. Nitya Siddha Krishna Bhakti Sadhya Kabunai Shavanadi Sutta Chitta Karaya Udai. It says Nitya Siddha Krishna Bhakti. The eternal perfection of Krishna Bhakti, Sadhya Kabuna, is in the heart of every living entity. It's already there. We were with Krishna originally, just like, were you with your mother at birth? What would you say? Yes. Can you remember it? No. Would you deny it? No. And similarly, we were originally, all of us, with Krishna at birth. Can we remember it? No. I mean, we were all originally with Krishna, just like we were originally with our mother. We just can't remember it. But Krishna says, or Prabhupada explains in the 8th chapter, 8th verse, he says, Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa nanyagamina paramam purusham divyam yati partana chintayan. He says, he who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, he, O Partha, is sure to reach me. And Srila Prabhupada explains, in this verse, Lord Krishna stresses the importance of remembering him. One's memory of Krishna is revived by chanting the Maha Mantra. Which Maha Mantra? Om Namo Shivaya. Which Mahamantra? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. By this practice of chanting and hearing the sound vibrations of the Supreme Lord, meaning Hare Krishna mantra, one's ear, tongue, and mind are engaged. This mystic meditation is very easy to practice, and it helps one attain the Supreme Lord. Then again, it says in the 3rd chapter, 11th verse, performance of yajna, or sacrifice, has many side benefits, ultimately leading to liberation from material bondage. By performance of yajnas, or sacrifices, all activities become purified. As it is stated in the Vedas, Ahara Sudam Sattva Sudhi Sattva Sudo Dhruva Smriti Smriti Lambe Sarva Grantinam Vipramokshaha. By performance of yajnas, one's eatables become sanctified. One's food becomes sanctified. And by eating sanctified foodstuffs, one's very existence becomes purified. And by the purification of existence, finer tissues in the memory become sanctified. And when memory is sanctified, one can think of the path of liberation, and all these combined together lead to Krishna consciousness, the great necessity of present-day society. So, what is the one yajna, or sacrifice, that we can perform successfully in Kali Yuga? We cannot perform any of the other sacrifices successfully. The Asvamedha sacrifice, the Rajasuya yajna, we can't do this successfully. Yes? Yajnai Sankirtan Krishna Varnyam Tisak Krishna Sangapangasta Parsatam Yajnai Sankirtana Parar Yajante Hi Sumedasaha. In this age of Kali, hypocrisy and quarrel, people who are endowed with sufficient intelligence will worship the Lord, who is accompanied by his associates by performance of Sankirtan Yajna. So who is this referring to? This is a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 5th chapter, 32nd verse. Who is it referring to? Those who have sufficient intelligence worship the Lord, who is accompanied by his associates by performance of Sankirtan Yajna. Yes, Sanskriti Devi Dasi. Exactly. Wait, can you point to him on the altar? Go a little closer and point to him, so we can all see. So there's no doubt. You might be pointing at, I don't know, the marble or something. Yeah. And who's next to him? He's in the yellow outfit, right? Who's next to him? Yes. So who are they? Okay. There you go. Very good. You have been properly trained. Did you learn that in the school you're going to? Where did you learn that? Is the temple a school also? Yeah, it's a much better school. We don't teach you about dissecting frogs and insects, right? What did I tell you? You should dissect your teacher. He's like a frog already. Frog brain. No, we don't dissect animals in the temple. We protect the animals. But we perform surgery in the temple. We cut out all the nonsense in the brain. All the cancerous nonsense. We come from monkeys. The goal of life is to increase sense gratification. You'll be successful if you make a lot of money. All a bunch of nonsense. What's the one thing we really should achieve in life? Yes. Yes. Yeah, love for Krishna. That's the thing we should achieve. I mean, let's say you have $4 billion in the bank when you die. Is it going to save you from death? No. What's going to save you from death? Yeah, chanting the holy name of Krishna. Well, how do we know that? Because it says that in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It says, apana samsatim goram yan nama visvaso grinam tata sadyo vimuchita yad vibeti swayambayam. Living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by fear personified. Who is fear personified? Yamaraj. When people see at the moment of death, instead of seeing Krishna, they see Yamaraj, this is the materialist, and they pass stool in their pants. When someone gets really afraid, they pass stool in their pants. And you'll see when the sinful people die, if they're not sedated, if they're not shot up with heroin or cocaine or anything, at the moment of death, their eyes bulge like this, and they pass stool and urine. Why? Because they're seeing Yamaraj and the Yamadutas that have come to take their soul out of their body. Their eyes actually open, they bulge like this. Because it's so frightening. Jai Shri Radha Nilamadava Ki Jai Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Putri Srimati Bhakti Namaste Namaste Saraswati Devi Guru. What would you do if you saw Yamaraj and the Yamadutas? Yeah, then they would leave you alone. But most people don't know that, so their eyes bulge and they pass stool and urine out of fear, and then they die. And then their soul is taken out of the body, and then they take the escalator down, and it's really warm down there. See? And they get what they deserve for wasting their life, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, and not spending any time trying to become Krishna conscious. So here it is, Apana Samsatim Goram, Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 1st chapter, 14th verse, Yan Nama Visvaso Grinam, Tata Sadyo Vimuchyata Yad Bibeti Swayam Bayam. Living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by fear personified. So this is referring also to Ajamil, who unconsciously chanted Hare Krishna. He chanted the name of Narayana. He was calling his son. Fortunately, he named his son Narayana. Just like so many people in India, even though they're atheists, even though they converted to Christianity or Islam, sometimes, well, not Islam, but in Christianity, they'll call their kids, Gopal, or they'll call him Govind, or Narayana, or Srinivasa, right? Well, they get benefit. Even if they're atheists, they get a benefit because they're repeating the name of God. Hey, Srinivas, come here. What are you doing? Hey, Srinivas, stop that. They're chanting the name of God, you see, and they get benefit for that. But nowadays, they hear, hey, Bill, yo, Joe, hey, Mike. What benefit is there by naming your child like that? Absolutely zero benefit. Say, how did you name your daughter? There you go. Haribol. Bingo. You get the prize. Yes, that's Vedic cultures. It's planned in such a way that you will always be connected to Krishna. And material culture is planned in such a way, and material education is planned in such a way that you always be separated from Krishna. So which culture should we accept? The Vedic culture or the Asuric culture, where everything is planned so you forget Krishna? The educational system, what they're teaching you. What are they teaching you? It says, in the books it says that, right? It doesn't say we come from Krishna. So you see, they're diverting your attention from Krishna to monkeys. You see? This is, you're not making it up, are you? No, I mean, we're talking practically. Anyone who's subjected to that type of education will become a monkey. They'll act like a monkey in this life, and in the next life they will become a monkey. How do you act like a monkey? Monkey all day long. He eats, sleeps, mates, and defends. That's it. No research into who is God, what is the purpose of life. Right? Okay. So, now we learned how to improve our memory. Let me read this again. By performing the only yajna or sacrifice that we can do successfully in this age, which is Sankirtan. Sankirtan means congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord, just like we do in the temple. And every Saturday we go outside the temple and in public we chant the holy names of Krishna. That is possible to perform successfully. All the other yajnas or sacrifices are not possible to perform successfully in this age because people don't have enough money. There's no qualified brahmanas. Qualified brahmana is not something like that, swaha. That's not a qualified brahmana. They're qualified for material dharma. Material dharma is, give me this, give me that. Narayana, give me this. Shivaji, give me this. Durga Devi, give me this. That's material dharma. Spiritual dharma is, my dear Lord, please give me more service. Please protect me so I'll always remain in your service. That's spiritual dharma. So I can develop pure love for you. Material dharma is, give me this thing. I need more money at the end of the month. I want a new car. I got a backache. My son has to pass the SAT. I want to buy a new house. The list is very long. All nonsensical things. All things that they're going to lose at during this life, and especially at the moment of death. So what good is it? You get something that you're going to lose. Right? Just like, did you lose your phone? Huh? Yeah. You see. So you buy something, but you're destined to lose it. You might lose it right away. You might lose it, after some time. But you're going to lose it. So why should we ask for something that we're going to lose? Let's ask for something that we'll never lose. That's Krishna Bhakti. That's pure love for Krishna. So now it says, performance of yajna, such as Sankirtan yajna, has many side benefits, ultimately leading to liberation from material bondage, from the cycle of birth and death. Just like this Thursday, I'm going to perform a funeral ceremony for a very nice mother who died. Right? So she's forced to leave her family. The family is forced never to see her again. And I performed the funeral for one of her sons only 3 months ago. Now, first the son dies. Now she died. And there are other people in the family that are going to die very soon too. Why? Because they eat junk. And although they are Hindus, and you could call them generally pious Hindus, but they haven't been practicing their sadhana as a Hindu, their spiritual duties as a Hindu. Therefore, they eat junk, and they're all sick. In that family, almost everyone is sick. And what happens when you live in a family like that? One by one, they're dying. Young, the mother is a little bit older, but the sons are much younger. They're dying. The other sons are also sick. They also have diabetes, high blood pressure, cardiac problems, cancer. All because of eating junk and wasting time watching television, having a sedentary life. What's a sedentary life? You like this, watching television for like 3, 4, 5 hours, drinking Budweiser, eating pretzels and hot dogs and watching television. What happens? You're like this, all of a sudden this part of your body develops cancer because it's all that junk that you're eating is putrefying in the intestines, because the intestines are at least 60 feet long. If we open somebody up now and pull out the intestines, it would stretch out 60 feet. Look it up on the internet. How long are the intestines? You don't have it? You lost your phone. Okay. Look up on the internet. How long are the intestines? This is real knowledge now. Know how long the intestines are. Yeah. Real problems of life. And the solution is in this book, Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. These are the real problems of life. But you struck a note that chimed in their ear favorably. So how long are the intestines? This is a very important piece of information for everyone. Meat-eating animals. Meat-eating animals have very short intestines. How much? 5 feet? No. Maybe that's the lower intestine. What's the full intestinal tract? Huh? Yeah, the small and large intestine. The total is 60 inches? Okay, 6 meters is 20 feet long.
And the large intestine, which has a larger diameter and is about 1.5 meters or 5 feet long. So the small intestines are 20 feet.
21.
The small intestines are 20 feet.
Yeah.
And the larger intestines, which have a larger diameter, are 5 feet.
Okay, 25 feet long.
Yeah.
Okay, I was wrong. All right, so it's 25 feet long. That would be, let's see, this is 40.
2 feet? Is it one tile?
Yes. One tile is 1.5 feet? Okay. 3. So 2 tiles are 3 feet. And 3 goes into 25, 3 sixes, yeah, so it's pretty long. It would go stretch out like, so that's all wrapped up here, right? So because of the length of the intestine, and if you eat something that's not digestible like meat, it just putrefies in the stomach. That's why people, emit bad smells from their mouth and from, yeah. Putrefy means it gets rotten. Just like, let's say you leave food out. You don't put it in the refrigerator. What happens to it after 1 week? How does it smell? Terrible. Yeah, that's what happens in the intestines when you eat food that's undigestible. And one type of food that's definitely undigestible is meat. All kinds of meat: white meat, red meat. Fish. You can digest it partially, but you can never digest it completely. So it putrefies in the intestines. Right. And then if you do other things like drink coffee, eat white flour products, cook everything in hydrogenated oils, then you're finished. Your intestinal tract is finished. You will get all kinds of sicknesses. Not right away, but over time. And then if you're like kids, you eat junk, absolute junk and gunk. Cookies, candies, pies, pastas, and bubble bath with toxic chemicals in it, and colorants, and all kinds of cereals, the cold cereal. The kids eat the worst junk, worse than the adults. And why? Because they watch the cartoons on television, and then those cartoons have plenty of advertisement for junk food for kids. And the advertisements are done very cleverly, so that the little kid's mind gets programmed. So when they go to the Safeway or the whatever supermarket, they see these big boxes that they saw on the television ad. they insist on buying it, and there's different colors, and they have animal forms and things like that. All those junk cereals are absolutely toxic. But they're very easy. You just put it in a bowl and just add some cold milk to it, and the kid eats it up like anything. It's like nectar. But it's complete junk. And then they go to Walmart or Costco, and then they buy a 1 year's supply of that junk. Yeah, I mean, I've done house programs, right? And I walk in, and especially these newer houses, they have these in the kitchen they have these beautiful, cabinets, right? And there's plenty of room between the cabinet and the ceiling. There are high ceilings even in the kitchen. They have these gigantic boxes that they bought in Costco, 1 year's supply of junk cereal, right? And that means their kid is going to be devastated eating that stuff, right? Okay, so and don't forget, this intestine. If it gets contaminated, you'll be sick for the rest of your life. You'll be sick for the rest of your life. Okay, so therefore, Sukadeva Goswami says that simply by pure devotional service, one can solve the problems of life. Now, that's something you have to tell people. Simply by pure devotional service to Krishna, you can solve all the problems of life. Financial problems, health problems, every problem will be solved if you're honest. But if you maintain dishonesty while practicing Krishna consciousness, then it doesn't work. The problems don't go away. It's only if a person is honest. Therefore, in the beginning of the 20 points of knowledge, it says, Amanitvam, Adamitvam, Ahimsa Santir Arjavam. So, it says, before accepting a guru, one must be humble, free of false pride, tolerant and merciful and nonviolent. One must be peaceful and kind. And one must be arjavam, simple and honest, straightforward and honest. Then one can accept a guru. And then when you accept a guru, acharya pasamam socham, one becomes clean, physically and mentally. And atma vinigraha, and one learns to control the mind and the senses. But if one is not arjavam, honest, then nothing works. Nothing works. Everything is tainted. And honest means completely honest in all dealings. One cannot be overly clever and cheat people. You only cheat yourself when you cheat others. So one must be, as they say in English, ferociously honest, or very, very honest in all dealings. Otherwise, one will be zapped by misery, even though they're practicing Krishna consciousness, but they're not practicing purely. Sukadeva Goswami says that simply by pure devotional service, one can solve the problems of life. Who can do this? It is not possible for an ordinary man, but for those who are Vasudeva Parayana, devoted to Lord Krishna, Vasudeva. Only those whose concern is to satisfy Krishna and who take the pure, unalloyed devotional service can solve the problems of life. Gaura Premanandi Haribol. So we'll stop right there. It's getting a little late. We have to go to sleep early too. Wake up very early, right? So that we can come to Mangalarti, or at least chant our rounds early in the morning. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. What? What happened?
one.
That's all right, because you're not chanting. Yeah. You have
We're
to
chanting between the doors and doors.
No, I'm talking about 16 rounds every day. If you chant, I told you many times, if you chant 16 rounds, you will be successful. But to do that, you have to be regulated. And it teaches you to focus your mind. When you learn how to focus your mind, then everything you do will be successful.
Like we went to this one guy.
Yeah.
Like he had the Bhagavad Gita in his hand. He came with it.
Oh.
He was reading it, but not the as it is, another version.
Yeah. So he said he had it already.
He had it already. And then I was gonna say like, oh, but do you have like the as it is version without adulteration, like without? But he'd close the door immediately.
Well, look, it's good experience. See, if you start chanting seriously, then you'll become very successful, like your mom. She was successful today, right? She went to the same doors as you did. She didn't choose this door or that door. She just went indiscriminately, and she was very successful because she's Krishna conscious. You're not Krishna conscious enough. But you can be if you want. Rest of your life, if you became a book distributor, you wouldn't have any financial problem the rest of your life. Krishna would provide for you. If you take care of cows nicely, really nicely, and grow flowers for the deities, you won't have a problem the rest of your life. Krishna will take care of you. It's a good life. If you sculpt and learn carpentry, you won't have a problem the rest of your life.
That's what I'm saving up to go.
To what?
After I finish my GED.
Your what?
After I finish my GED, go to India.
What are you going to do in India?
Finish Barbie and Mridanga.
You should learn carpentry here.
Why?
It's a skill that will permit you to always to make money in life.
But it's more expensive here to learn it.
No, it's not. Don't say that.
So like, what do you mean, like, to do this?
No, that's sculpting. I'm talking about carpentry, building things.
Oh, building.
Building things. Like we're going to get these professionals who are going to fix the roof of the greenhouse. You should watch how they do it.
Well, not with Prabhu.
What?
Not what's his name?
No.
Not John
He doesn't have the time.
Oh, okay.
We have to get it done quickly. So, we're going to grow in that greenhouse all year round. You have to learn, you should learn carpentry here. You learn carpentry by working with a carpenter.
That's what I was doing in Gidnagri.
I know, but you're not doing it here.
Yeah.
You can learn it just by looking on the internet and start building things. Like we have to build a puppet theater because we're going to have puppet shows.
Well, yeah, Mom said we have to make more puppets.
Yeah, and you have to carve some faces out of wood. Come on, you should get project oriented. You know what that means? You know what that means? Project oriented? Just like you had a project.
Try to make one my own, and then I'll show it to you and see how it is.